Our life is very fragile, it's very short. So really, the only thing you can do is experience life to the fullest.
Love however much you can. Don't be afraid of that.
Hello everybody, welcome back to the new episode of Henri and Mike. Today is the 18th December 2022. It is a Sunday. At the moment it's 1:30 p.m. in the afternoon. So Mike, how are you? How is your week?
Great. A lot of dinners, a lot of drinks.
Yeah.
Usually towards the end of the year, it's always a social activities time.
Yeah.
Right? People just get together. It's a joyous occasion. You spend some time to drink, to eat.
There's a lot of Christmas party going on. You know, like even the CrossFit, like among all the groups, everyone just having Christmas party and Christmas dinner all the time. And most of the US and European, they kind of left the city to celebrate their Christmas. So the box, like for instance, CrossFit box is kind of like quiet at the moment.
Yeah.
But it's also good, you know, like you got more space to do your own workout, and you know, I think it's just coming to a slow phase.
Even Chinese New Year is something that's very big, right? People actually disappear from the city. Like in Singapore, there's a lot of Malaysians, there's a lot of Taiwanese, there's a lot of Chinese. They always fly back.
Can the Chinese go back to China now?
I'm not sure, but the last couple of years, because pandemic, probably not. But
Right.
prior to that, yes, everybody would just really fly back to China. You just imagine, you see, like even in Taiwan, people will leave Taipei. Everybody will go back. You know, when we're younger, it's the same, right? Because dad and mom used to work in Taipei. Then every Chinese New Year will always, let's go back to our granny's place.
Yeah, I think it's kind of like a trend, not trend, I mean, it's just how the practice is for bigger city, because everyone comes to a bigger city to work, to live.
Yeah.
But whenever there's like a big festival, people can't leave the city. I went on a trip as well. I went to Thailand. I went to Koh Samui, Koh Tao, and Koh Phangan. So these three islands. You can take a ferry to these two other islands, Koh Tao and Koh Phangan. It's very near.
Okay.
So even to Koh Tao, it's only about 2 hours something. It's the furthest little island, and then Koh Phangan just directly opposite of Koh Samui. Koh Samui, of course, is the biggest island over there, so you have more activities going on, like the streets whereby there's lots of party, lots of eateries, and just life and massage. Oh my god, I'm like having massage every single day, really.
What kind of massage?
Thai massage, it was really hard. I tried once, oh my god.
They stretch you, right? I remember last time I went to Bangkok, they always do this, like they will stretch you the back.
I forgot what Thai massage was, so I went in. And then the lady was saying, what do you want? I said, I want to try Thai massage today. And then they look at your size, assign different ladies to give you the massage. And one of these ladies that was assigned to me, she was very petite, but she was very powerful.
Okay.
When she was doing massage to me, she was literally making me cry, using her whole weight. And she's not using her hand. Some part of it is using her hand, but most of the part she's using her feet. And she was on my back. The foot is like this, right? So she go in, and then she'll use her toe to kind of get deeper. Whoa, that was really painful, because previously I was really sunburned. You know, I mean, I'm a shade darker now, which I like it, but it just, I always go for the oil massage. My skin kind of like neutralize it a bit more, so that was a bit more gentle. And then one day I said, okay, I'm going to try different things today, Thai massage. And then when she started, it was very light, so I said it can be harder, and she said okay. And she was really hard. She showed no mercy for the whole 1 hour later. And there was a lot of time like, Very and Mona, two girls, right? They were just next to me doing their own massage. They keep hearing that. I said, Henry, are you having happy end? I said, no.
Happy end.
I said, no. I said, no, it's just so painful. And then the Thai lady was just like giggling and laughing. It's like, kind of like making me cry and say that, yeah, now you're suffering because you want to do something really hard, right? And there was a French guy opposite of the massage chamber. At some point he was saying, oh! He was screaming, and then everyone started laughing. I remember what Thai massage is now, and next time I will not really go for it. It was very painful, but then afterwards I feel really good. But I wouldn't want to go through that again, it's just too painful.
In my distant memory about Thai massage, there were two things that were very memorable. Number one is the way they stretch you at the very end. They will always pull you, like literally you're like a reverse arc.
Yeah.
It's like, this really hurts.
Yeah.
The second thing, the way that they massage this part, you know,
inner thigh.
Oh my god, I just feel like punching the masseuse.
Yeah.
It's so painful, but the after effect was great.
It relaxes your muscle really.
Yeah.
But then it's also important to remember that you have to roll or stretch your muscle, especially after you work out, because those muscles are so intense. She was using her feet to relax part of my muscle on the thigh outer layer. It was so painful because I think that part of muscle group was too cramped out. So it helped me to relax more, but it's just crazy. Anyway, so that was experience. There was still a lot of experiences in Thailand I really liked.
Tell us more.
I really like the fruit store. Lots of like dragon fruits, mangoes, pineapples, coconut.
Durian.
Mangosteen, right? Is it
Mangosteen. Durian is the king of the fruits. Mangosteen is like the queen of the fruits, right?
Lychee, all this stuff, yeah. Oh, it's so good. And every single day I'll be ordering 2 different shake, very affordable. Okay. And also those Thai food eateries, just amazing. Every different store have that kind of different like family recipe, but it's just so flavorful, the spices they use. And I was introducing to both Mona and Barry, 2 friends of mine. They flew in from Dusseldorf.
Right.
They flew in from a long way, man. From Dusseldorf, they took a train to Amsterdam. From Amsterdam, they flew all the way to Saudi Arabia and then transit there. From Saudi Arabia, they flew to Bangkok. From Bangkok, they flew to Koh Samui.
So there are 3 pit stops.
They were
Amsterdam, Saudi Arabia, and Bangkok before they reached Koh Samui.
Yeah, exactly. So that was really a long distance for them.
The effort they do just to come to Southeast Asia is sick.
Yeah, so it was Mona's first time to Asia, really, and she really loved it. She's German, like me, but she has an Iranian background. So it's always really nice to catch up with her. And last year we did go to Italy together. We did a road trip, so we kind of do once a year this kind of trip together. And it was also nice to see Barry because like she was here in Singapore in April this year actually. And it's just nice to see her in live again and just have different conversation. It was nice to spend quality time. It reminded me that I have a life back in Germany, you know, and just nice to see them because I know them for more than 10 years.
And then Mona, you got to know sometime?
Only recently, like maybe 2018, I think.
Okay. Through the introduction from
Barry. I think we just get along really, really well. I love them. This time around, I got to know a lot more about Mona's and Iranian culture, or just so fascinating. There's another world, like when you talk about Middle Eastern, I have absolutely no idea. You got to know most of this Middle Eastern through news.
Mass media, and usually it's very
very conflict oriented.
Yes, exactly.
But then through her, you got to see the other world of how people live, you know, like how her family is and stuff. And she was saying that next time she'll organize a trip, all of us will go. I said, sure. And one thing she pointed out, I didn't really notice that till she mentioned that. She said, Henry, this part of the world is so different from where I come from. I said, why? She said, like, you know, everywhere you go, be in Thailand or Bangkok or Koh Samui or even Singapore, you have so many greens, tropical plants, tropical trees. Everywhere you go is all so green. It's very different from where she came from. She comes from a place whereby she said, you just drive, you just see desert all the time.
Brown.
Yeah, so she says she really loves this, like so beautiful, like the color-wise, so vivid. Remind me that, hey, it's really nice that you get to see all this, you know, greeneries around you. You should appreciate it more. We did very simple stuff. We go for food, we did some shopping here and there to look at the night markets, and then we'll go back to the resorts. Either chill at the beach, chit chat, have cocktails, go over to each other's room, and just like trying out different Thai snacks. And then just chat everything. And then talking about our own experiences of going to Germany. Because Mona got to Germany in 2007, and Barry got to Germany also around that time, 2007, I think. Mine really started in 2011, but there's so many memories of us, you know, like time seems to fly by so quickly, but there's a commonality over there, like our common ground is Germany, basically. We're kind of just sharing our own journey, how we started from scratch, learning language, going through university, having those internships and start working, and then relationships.
So it's really like growing up, seeing each other grow up, and then going through different phases of life and different challenges, how you guys overcome.
When you don't learn English from young, like it's harder for you to get into that international, like a community. You have to make more effort. So for us, we went to Germany when we are like in our young adult life, like 20s, you know. And that's also different because you're already very different from a local student. You're always behind a local student in terms of language, in terms of network, in terms of the cultural studies, stuff like this. So even more now, she graduated only at the age of 30 because she did another bachelor in Germany. And she started her bachelor at the age of 23. For me, it was the same thing. I mean, I went to Germany also late. So I had to start everything from scratch again. And going through all those internships, when you started all those internship or university, people around you are like 5 or 6 years younger than you. You have to somehow play the catch-up game. And so that's why I appreciate them a lot because you understand each other more. There's commonalities. I gave them 2 books. each Christmas presents and then also teas. Yeah, so I do miss them, but I also very appreciative that we get to spend this quality time with each other. I love those islands. It's nice and chill. I see a lot of people go there as a digital nomad or just literally living there. So I think that's a good recharge for me. So that's my recent trip to Thailand.
You know, as you're saying this, I could resonate with some of the points you're saying, especially with quality time. This time around, I met up with another 2 friends, very close. We knew each other since secondary school. We have never drifted per se. The friendship has always been, you know, we left off at this point and we'll always pick up at this point. Doesn't matter how many years apart, because one of the friends actually went to US and UK to study and came back. This is the second year that everybody's back and then working in Singapore, and then we make a point to catch up at the end of the year.
Right.
So they were my bandmates before, and we used to play in the band together. So we really enjoy like music together. And it started last year. We actually get together to enjoy the music, listen to music, have chit chat. And then this year we're adding coffee. But the conclusion about this is never about how much time you spend with a particular person, especially when we are right now much older, in our 30s, working, you know, having a professional life and all that. It's more about the quality of time being spent together and the fact that we knew each other for long, and since way back, we knew how each other, the very genuine aspect of each other. So that set the foundation, and then it just built on and built on and built on. And we find comfort in that. And the kind of conversation we have is very similar to what we had with Mona as well as Barry. You know? It's a very organic conversation that's going on, and I really appreciate that as well. 朋友不求多，求精。
Yeah, but I think that's correct. I mean, that saying in Chinese is very true. I also think that, you know, when you start aging, it is harder and harder to get to know people who are on your frequency and who really care about you, you see. So all these friends that I have, like Barry and Mona and some others, I know them through starting my time in Germany to now. And that's why I really appreciate them a lot. And then I hold them dearly in my heart, you know. Because for them, they're like my family. Like whenever I'm overseas and living my life there, whenever I have a problem, they'll just come to me, you know? They're just either a telephone away or...
So much love.
Barry will always travel to me and just make sure I'm okay. I mean, I'll do the reverse as well, but it just, you know, you're there for each other, you see. So when I came into Singapore, I mean, the last few days, can feel a bit...
Parting is always hard, but I kind of get where you're coming from. Yeah, parting is always hard.
Yeah, also want to bring out this thing. I'm going to talk about friendship, right? Friendship. And yesterday when I was at yours place, I watched this documentary by Chris Hemsworth.
The tall, the guy.
He did a documentary, 6 episodes actually altogether.
Okay.
The title is called Limitless.
Pretty new, right? This year? Okay, I have not
just released.
Okay.
And I watched 2 out of 6. One was called Shock. The title is called Shock because he wanted to test his own limits. Whether is it possible to be limitless. So that one, the production crew and the directors brought him over to Norway, one of the fjords. It was beautifully cinematically shot. They were testing his body. So he basically went on to swim in the Arctic Circle. Like that's his aim. 3 days building up to that, he has to try different things. Like first of all, jumping into the water was like -°C. He has to stay there for 3 minutes. And the whole shock in his body is just immense.
No wonder it's called shock.
So basically what it's saying there is that your body is able to actually have that coldness, the mixture of coldness and warmthness in your body will help you to boost out your immune system. That's why in those kind of colder countries, even in Germany as well, in winter time, you go through sauna and you come out, get a cold shower or going to the lake to go for a skinny dip and come back again to the sauna. You kind of rotate depends how long you want, like 20 minutes or something.
It's help you to train, like improve your immunity and recover, right?
Exactly. So there are different examples being given during that documentary, different stories, personal story being shared. So in the end, he actually went from jumping into the Arctic water to surfing in the Arctic Circle.
Surfing?
That was amazing, man. I mean, I saw some of those before.
So cold and you're surfing, wow.
Yeah, some people actually surf under the aurora lights. I think that's amazing. That really inspired me. Like, I was thinking, one day I want to do that too. So that was one episode. And the last episode, the second episode I watched was called Acceptance. And that one hits me a lot. It was filmed in 3 days as well, but it was being broken down into 3 different parts. The first part is called aging, second part is called mortality, and the third part is called death. So it's talking about how do you counter the topic death. So aging is talking about how he ages. So MIT, one of these top university in the US, they kind of establish a body suit whereby it stimulates the old age.
Okay.
So you are heavier, you cannot really balance, and you can't really hear properly what people are saying, things like that.
Okay.
So it kind of simulate the whole experiences.
Right.
For him, he's Chris Hemsworth, Thor.
Yeah.
He's very muscular,
Marvel,
very fit. And then for him, he's struggling, fighting against the whole gravity and the whole weight to be really being himself. But he started to realize that when he started to age, there's different phase of his life. You know what I mean? Like he can feel that physically through those equipments. And then afterwards, they also introduced him to this character with an Asian background and who used to be very, very fit. And when he was younger, he was doing all the different kung fu until he injured himself. And he thought that there's no more life out of that. He was sharing with Chris that one day he was walking alongside the beach and he saw this group of people doing Tai Chi. And he said, that's something I want to try. Is Tai Chi something slower, right?
Yeah.
So he went to try and he started to find something that, like his Kung Fu career was closed, right? It was done. So he cannot do that anymore because of injury.
Okay.
So at that point of time when he started Tai Chi, he accepted that that's the end and then he moved on to something else. So he was talking about his whole idea of acceptance concept, like one door closes, there are more doors open for you.
Okay.
So just how you accept it, how you move on with it. Okay. So that's the general concept this guy is talking about. And then Chris kind of like took it in, like his story, and he kind of reflect on his own physical condition at a point of time. And the second part is about mortality. His wife came in to play around with it too. She acted as a character that she aged 50 years old. When she aged 50 years old, winning one day, it's like they really put those prosthetic. So it's kind of just like doing those makeup, to make her really...
Like wrinkles or this kind of
everything,
stuff.
to really look like 50 years old.
Okay.
And when she was going through that process of transformation in front of the mirror, like all the makeup team was helping her there, she went to a place whereby that was very vulnerable. She said she wasn't sure that she wanted to show Chris of herself right now. And then Chris actually went on to have a date with her, surprise date with her for the dance. He's still wearing the physical suit thing. When he saw her, of course, I think he was like, wow, surprised. And then kind of realized that what is aging all about,
Okay.
So they talk about like this whole 50 years was kind of being robbed away from them just within one day. And they kind of appreciate that they want to spend more of these 50 years with them and with each other more.
Okay.
Another example of this mortality is that a guy from Fiji shared about his story. He and his older brother, they were very close when they were growing up. So the older brother always take care of him. And then eventually his older brother became the chief of the whole tribe. But at some point, this his older brother passed away. So this guy from Fiji, he was sharing his story that he has to become the chief, right? Fijian society, there's 100 days of grief. No music, no entertainment, just everything's quiet to kind of remember, to grieve from this person.
Okay.
He said that at first it was really difficult for him, and then he has to put himself in the role of his brother to take on the responsibility to be the chief of the tribe, right? But at the same time, he felt a great loss of someone that he loves so much. But he said towards the end, the 100 days actually helped him to come together, come to turn that this is what he needs to do. He was sharing that story with Chris, what's the importance of grieving. He said that the Western society don't really do that. One person passed away, you just bury it and that's it. Which to some extent is true, because I had this conversation with Bridget, another friend of mine from Munich for a long time. And she said that usually within 3 days, you have to bury the person and just get it done, the funeral in Germany. But here, like for us, our practices in Taiwan is also different. I remember when grandma passed away, she has to do that whole Taoism's kind of way, and it's like 49 days.
Then there's 3 years and all this kind of
Exactly.
stuff.
So there's a way for you to grieve, for you to remember your ancestor, to remember the people who passed away, like the loved one passed away. Yeah, I think that's a very good, important point. I mean, we will be facing death at some point, right? So, I mean, our own, but the thing is also like people who we love around us. Yeah, so the grieving part is something I think physically we'll experience that later on. You just have to take time to grieve. It's important for you to grieve. And the last part was about death. Okay, so they used this example of a young person called Natalie. She was in her early 20s when she was diagnosed with cancer. And that was already stage 2. Of course, she went through the whole operation and some chemotherapy already. But then when it was like at a certain point that it seems to be contained, she started to think that she need to take times off and she wanted to go to some place where no one knows her. She wanted to come to censor for herself. So she went to Venice and to Italy. And at that point in time, she knows that to some extent her cancerous cells in her body is contained, but she knows she's dying. So she just wants to spend some time by herself to come to a realization. When she was in Venice, she fell in love with a guy called Alexander. And then Alexander understood that she's died, eventually passed. But they were still dating. So 3 months later when she came back and went back to Australia, like the doctor told her that your cancer situation upgraded to the 4th stage.
Okay.
So, which means that she could die at any time.
Right.
I mean, she's already dying, but she just doesn't know when she'll be dying. So she told that to Alexander, we gotta break up because I'm dying. Okay. And Alexander looked at her and said, no, I'm in this with you, so I'll be here with you. So she said that even at the stage where she is dying, she was having this conversation with Chris. She knows she's dying, but she knows there's love. You have to experience love. Love is everything that it's all about. So when there's love, there's loss. And that statement really hit me a lot. Like, you love so much, but the thing is, in life, there's always thing that you never have everything 100%. When you have something, there's certain things you have to give away as well.
Oh, that's very deep.
So when you have love, you have loss. And that's all of us were facing. Like, we are all heading to our death.
Yeah, it comes as a package.
Yeah, so that two words is that love and loss. And all of these people they kind of interview to share stories with Chris, they say that our life is very fragile, it's very short. So really, you always think that death is something very far away, but you never know. It hits people who are older, people who are younger in different situations, different circumstances. So the only thing you can really do is that to really experience life to the fullest every single day, and also like to love as much as you can, to have that, because those will be the memory that you have. Now, just thought about the whole thing with mom. I mean, it made me think about my life too. It made me think about my relationship with mom, you know, like about all this love, because with mom, like this unconditional love that she always given to us, you see. And also, I have to talk about this in many different episodes. I want to experience life like fully, you know, there's still so many things I want to see, you know, for instance, this inspiration of surfing under the aura lights, or seeing the Arctic Circle, or experience different culture in their own primary language, their own mother tongue, things like this. Those are something that I still want to do. Yeah, I just want to share that two episodes of this documentary. It's really impactful. I'll watch the other 4 as well, but I think that's something worth to think about, you know. And I thought about the time that I spent with people that I love, I think that's definitely worth it, and cut away those that it just no longer serve you.
I think from this 2 episodes, what you shared, what I took away is, number 1, love is together with loss. It comes in a package. It just made me recall the conversation I had with that 2 friends of mine that I mentioned just now. One of the friends that I had, actually he has this eyesight issue with him. He discovered it sometime last year. It's genetic, double recessive gene, and he has like 25% of getting it, but he has it. So what happened to him right now is that his eyesight, vision is deteriorating. So I asked him, you know, because of what mom's going through, I'm facing death. And I asked him like, so with this condition, like how are you seeing life differently? How are you living your life differently? So he said that 2 things. Number 1 is love however much you can. Don't be afraid of that. The second thing he mentioned was about life is very fragile, so do whatever you want. And he gave very specific example about love. He's together with a girl now, right? But the girl is actually having a bond in Singapore in terms of work professionally, and she will eventually leave. And then my question to him is like, if you know that she's living, is it still worth it to be together? Because you have no plan to leave, right? He said, yeah, I have no plan to leave. But it doesn't matter because life is short. I want to go through, I want to love. So if I lose, it's okay. It didn't make sense to me, but now when you mentioned about Chris Hemsworth and this Fiji, the lady, Natalie and Alexander's case, yes. And that kind of connect the dot very clearly to me, like what my friend told me about the first point, love and loss as a package. The second point that my friend was mentioning was about life is very short and fragile. So right now what he does is he lives life to the fullest, more self-driven. What he wants to do, he tries his best to achieve it. He doesn't really care about how others perceive him. He just fight for what he feels is right for himself and the life that he wants to live. So I'm thankful that for this conversation, you know, it's okay, now I know what it means. Definitely helpful.
I also made up my mind that I think I shared with you earlier today. I think I'll go back to Taiwan next year in end February or early March. I want to see grandma again, and also some relatives there. I've not been back to Taiwan since.
I think 2019.
That was a funeral. Yeah. That was a funeral. We went back.
For our paternal grandma. Yes.
Yeah, I think I'll go back for 1 or 2 weeks to see them for my next visa run. What's the words for this week then? I think my words love.
Ego.
We come to a conclusion of this episode of La Copy with Henri and Mike. Thank you very much much for tuning in at Spotify or watching us on YouTube. We appreciate that. And don't forget to subscribe so you get to the latest update from Henri and Mike. Be kind to yourself, don't forget to smile, and take care of each other. This is Henri.
This is Mike, signing off.
Ciao, ciao.
Bye.
Cheers. Black coffee with Henri and Mike. It took us some time, like literally 2 hours to set it up today because we've got new equipment. I'm going to show you guys quickly.